Welcome back. What if four of the most overlooked Lincoln Bicentennial pennies tells an incredible story that most collectors never notice? Stay with me as we uncover the hidden details, history, and the rare characteristics that make certain authenticated examples stand out in the world of coin collecting. First coin. Few modern American coins have surprised collectors quite like the 2009 Lincoln cent featuring the birth and early childhood reverse. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than an ordinary penny, the kind that slips unnoticed through cash registers and pockets every day. Yet that first impression can be remarkably misleading. Created during one of the most significant commemorative programs in the history of the United States 1-cent coin, this issue represents a unique moment when the mint temporarily departed from the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse that Americans had known for half a century. Hidden beneath its modest appearance are details that many people overlook, from subtle differences in strike quality to the importance of mint marks, preservation, and collector demand. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear why certified examples have realized dramatically different prices at auction, and why some authenticated pieces have sold for amounts that far exceed what most people would ever expect from a modern cent. The answer lies not in the date alone, but in a fascinating combination of condition, rarity, production quality, and the rigorous standards used by professional grading services. The release of the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Cent series marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, while also recognizing the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself, first introduced in 1909. Rather than issuing a single commemorative design, the United States Mint produced 4 different reverse designs throughout the year, each representing a different chapter of Lincoln's life. The birth and early childhood design was the first in that sequence and depicts a simple log cabin standing in the Kentucky wilderness, symbolizing Lincoln's humble beginnings near Hodgenville. The reverse was designed by Richard Masters and sculpted by Jim Licoretz, presenting an intentionally understated image that reflects the hardships and simplicity of frontier America. The obverse continued Victor David Brenner's enduring portrait of Lincoln, a design that has become one of the most recognizable images in American numismatic history. During 2009, the nation was also experiencing the aftermath of the global financial crisis, making everyday coinage especially relevant as millions of these cents entered circulation during a period of economic uncertainty. The Philadelphia Mint struck coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint added the familiar D, and the San Francisco Mint produced specially struck proof versions for collectors. Together, these facilities created hundreds of millions of examples, ensuring widespread availability while simultaneously introducing meaningful differences that would later attract specialists. Although enormous production numbers often suggest that a coin can never become collectible, the reality is far more nuanced. The Philadelphia and Denver mints each produced well over 100 million examples of the birth and early childhood cent, making circulated specimens extremely common. However, true rarity in modern coin collecting frequently begins where circulation ends. Most of these cents quickly entered commerce, acquiring scratches, discoloration, contact marks, and environmental damage within a short time. Finding one that escaped circulation entirely, retaining its original mint luster and flawless surfaces, is substantially more difficult than many people imagine. The coin itself measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, weighs 2.5 grams, features a plain edge, and is composed primarily of copper plating over a zinc core, a composition introduced decades earlier to reduce production costs. That copper plating, while visually attractive when fresh, is relatively thin and vulnerable to tiny abrasions that can permanently reduce a coin's grade. Even slight imperfections visible only under magnification may separate an average mint state example from one considered elite by professional grading services. This is why collectors often examine multiple examples before selecting a single coin worthy of submission for certification. Professional grading plays an extraordinary role in determining how much collectors are willing to pay for a 2009 birth and early childhood cent. Independent organizations such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, evaluate each coin using the Sheldon numerical grading scale, ranging from poor 1 to mint state 70 for uncirculated pieces. They also classify copper coins by color, assigning red, red-brown, or brown designations depending on how much original mint color remains. Among modern Lincoln cents, the coveted red designation frequently commands the strongest premiums because it indicates that the brilliant original copper appearance has survived without significant oxidation. A mint state 65 red example may sell for only a modest premium over face value, but exceptionally well-preserved coins certified at mint state 68 red can command approximately $1,200 to $2,000 when strong collector demand and eye appeal align. Coins that reach even higher certified grades become dramatically more elusive because virtually every microscopic contact mark matters. This emphasis on perfection explains why grading consistency, certification, and population reports have become essential tools for advanced collectors seeking the finest surviving examples. Strike quality introduces another layer of complexity that many beginning collectors overlook. Despite modern manufacturing technology, not every Lincoln cent leaves the presses with identical sharpness or surface quality. Variations in die wear, striking pressure, planchet preparation, and production speed can all influence the final appearance. Specialists closely inspect Lincoln's portrait for crisp details, examine the cabin logs for complete definition, and evaluate the lettering for strength and uniformity. Luster should flow evenly across the surfaces without interruptions caused by friction or improper handling. Certain examples display noticeably stronger strikes than others from the same mint, making them more desirable in high grades. Collectors also search carefully for legitimate mint errors and die varieties, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic die cracks. While most 2009 birth and early childhood cents exhibit no unusual characteristics, authenticated error coins can become highly sought after. Depending on the nature of the error, rarity, and certification, some verified examples have realized between approximately $2,500 and $4,000 at auction. Those prices apply only to genuine mint-produced errors confirmed by reputable grading services, not to ordinary damage that occurred after the coins entered circulation. Authentication has become increasingly important as collector interest in modern varieties continues to expand. Although counterfeiters have traditionally focused on rarer classic coins, deceptive alterations and fabricated mint errors occasionally appear in the marketplace. Unscrupulous sellers may artificially enhance surfaces, alter mint marks, or create damage intended to resemble valuable striking errors. Experienced numismatists therefore rely on careful examination using proper lighting, magnification, precise weight measurements, and dimensional verification. Certified examples housed in tamper-evident holders provide an additional level of confidence because respected grading companies authenticate both the coin and its assigned grade before encapsulation. Even so, certification should not replace informed study. Collectors benefit from comparing suspected varieties with documented reference photographs and understanding the characteristics of genuine dies used by the United States Mint. Knowledge remains one of the strongest defenses against costly mistakes. Equally important is recognizing that unusual appearance alone does not guarantee rarity, and professional evaluation is often necessary before assuming that an apparently distinctive coin possesses significant collector value. Long-term preservation can dramatically influence whether a modern Lincoln cent remains an ordinary keepsake or develops into a premium collectible decades later. Because copper-plated zinc cents react readily to moisture, fingerprints, airborne contaminants, and improper storage materials, careful handling is essential from the moment a coin is discovered. Collectors generally hold coins only by their edges and avoid wiping or polishing them. Since even gentle cleaning creates microscopic hairlines that permanently reduce numismatic value, acid-free holders, inert plastic capsules, archival quality flips, or professionally encapsulated slabs provide far better protection than paper envelopes or containers containing PVC, which can release chemicals harmful to coin surfaces over time. Stable temperature and low humidity further reduce the likelihood of discoloration or corrosion. These preservation practices are especially important for brilliant red examples, whose original color often separates higher-value coins from otherwise similar pieces. Auction history repeatedly demonstrates that two coins struck on the same day can achieve dramatically different results years later simply because one retained pristine surfaces while the other suffered avoidable environmental damage. As the years have passed, the 2009 birth and early childhood cent has evolved from a circulating commemorative issue into an increasingly studied modern collectible that bridges American history and contemporary numismatics. Its appeal extends beyond Lincoln enthusiasts to collectors assembling complete bicentennial sets, Lincoln cent registries, and high-grade modern collections. Most surviving examples remain inexpensive and readily available, yet the finest certified pieces continue to attract competitive bidding because true perfection is remarkably scarce, despite the enormous original mintage. Exceptional auction performances have been recorded for top population coins and certain authenticated varieties, but those results reflect an unusual convergence of outstanding preservation, verified authenticity, limited certified populations, and sustained collector demand rather than the date alone. For the overwhelming majority of examples found in circulation, value remains modest, emphasizing the importance of realistic expectations. Ultimately, every 2009 birth and early childhood cent tells a story that begins with Abraham Lincoln's frontier origins and continues through modern American coinage, reminding collectors that even the smallest denomination can preserve history while rewarding patience, careful observation, and informed scholarship. Next coin. Among the four special Lincoln Bicentennial cents released in 2009, the professional life design has quietly earned a reputation as one of the most fascinating modern coins ever produced for everyday circulation. It often passes unnoticed because millions of Americans recognize Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse but rarely pause to study the reverse, where an entirely different chapter of his life is preserved in miniature. This design captures Lincoln standing before the Illinois State Capitol in Springfield during the years when he built his reputation as an attorney and public servant, long before he entered the White House. Although countless examples still exist, only a remarkably small percentage have survived in truly exceptional condition, and that difference has transformed certain certified specimens into highly desirable collector pieces. As this story unfolds, the reasons behind that growing demand become much clearer, along with the factors that determine collector value and the authenticated examples that have achieved impressive auction results. The journey begins not with rarity alone, but with history, craftsmanship, preservation, and the remarkable standards that separate an ordinary circulating cent from one worthy of serious numismatic attention. The professional life reverse was introduced as the third design in the United States Mint's 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial 1-cent program, an ambitious four-coin series celebrating the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, while also commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself. Rather than focusing on Lincoln's presidency, this reverse honors the years during which he established himself as a respected lawyer in Illinois, arguing cases throughout the judicial circuit and steadily earning a reputation for honesty, intelligence, and integrity. The artwork, designed by Joel Iskowitz and sculpted by Don Everhart, portrays Lincoln standing confidently before the Illinois State Capitol, a symbolic reminder that his greatest achievements were built upon years of discipline rather than sudden success. Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait remained on the obverse, preserving one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. The timing of the release added another layer of historical significance, as the nation was still navigating the economic challenges that followed the financial crisis of 2008. During a period of uncertainty, the Mint issued a coin celebrating perseverance, professional growth, and public service, giving the small cent an unexpected historical depth that continues to resonate with collectors today. Production of the professional life cent took place at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint manufactured specially struck proof versions intended exclusively for collectors. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, Denver examples display the familiar D, and San Francisco proofs bear the S mint mark with sharply struck details and mirror-like fields produced through specially prepared dies and polished planchets. Collectively, the circulation mintage reached hundreds of millions of pieces, making the design readily available to the public during its year of issue. Despite those substantial production figures, quantity alone tells only part of the story. The coin measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, weighs 2.5 grams, features a plain edge, and consists of a copper-plated zinc composition that had become standard for Lincoln cents decades earlier. Every planchet was carefully prepared before entering high-speed coining presses capable of striking thousands of coins each hour. Even within that modern production environment, subtle differences in die condition, striking pressure, and handling created noticeable variations in surface quality, luster, and sharpness, laying the foundation for the dramatic grading differences that would later emerge among surviving examples. As the coins entered circulation across the United States, most immediately began accumulating the tiny marks that inevitably accompany everyday commerce. Contact with other coins, vending machines, cash drawers, and countless hands gradually diminished the brilliant mint surfaces that collectors prize. This explains why finding a truly pristine professional life cent is significantly more challenging than simply locating one with the correct date and reverse design. Modern collectors pay close attention to strike quality, especially the sharpness of Lincoln's figure, the architectural details of the Capitol building, and the clarity of the inscriptions. Bright, uninterrupted mint luster flowing smoothly across the surfaces is another critical characteristic. Copper-plated zinc cents are particularly vulnerable to discoloration and spotting, making original eye appeal increasingly important as grades climb. Color designations also play a major role. Certified red examples, retaining nearly all of their original copper brilliance, generally command stronger premiums than red-brown or brown coins that have naturally toned over time. Because pristine surfaces become exponentially scarcer at higher grades, certified mint state examples have attracted increasing attention from registry set collectors determined to own the finest available specimens. That pursuit of quality leads directly into the world of professional grading, where even microscopic imperfections can dramatically influence market value. Independent grading companies, such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, evaluate Lincoln cents according to the Sheldon grading scale, while also assigning the appropriate color designation for copper coins. A coin certified as Mint State 67 red may appear virtually flawless to the naked eye, yet graders still examine every tiny contact mark, hairline, spot, and disturbance under magnification before assigning a final grade. Registry collectors competing for top-ranked collections often seek only the highest certified populations, creating strong demand for examples graded Mint State 68 red and finer. Depending upon certification, originality, eye appeal, and prevailing market conditions, exceptional circulation strike examples in elite grades have realized approximately $1,350 to $2,300 through reputable auction venues. These results reflect the scarcity of coins surviving in outstanding condition rather than the date itself. The overwhelming majority of circulated examples remain common, reinforcing the importance of authentication and preservation before assuming that any individual coin possesses unusual value. Beyond condition, rarity. Collectors also study the professional life cent for legitimate mint errors and recognize die varieties, although no universally accepted major variety defines the issue in the same way that famous doubled dies characterize certain earlier Lincoln cents. Nevertheless, authenticated off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, retained cuds, and other genuine production anomalies occasionally appear in the marketplace. Such pieces attract attention because they document unusual moments during the manufacturing process rather than post-mint damage. Values vary enormously according to the severity of the error, the visibility of the design, certification status, and collector demand. Verified examples displaying dramatic but authentic mint errors have sometimes sold within the approximate range of $2,700 to $3,900, though each piece must be evaluated individually. Those impressive results should never be interpreted as applying to ordinary circulation strikes. Experienced collectors remain cautious because damaged coins are frequently mistaken for mint errors by inexperienced sellers, making certification from a respected grading service an essential safeguard whenever significant money is involved. The growing popularity of modern Lincoln cents has also increased awareness of authentication and proper preservation. While counterfeiters traditionally concentrate on older rarities with much higher market values, altered examples occasionally appear, particularly when ordinary coins are modified in an attempt to imitate valuable mint errors. Careful examination begins with verifying the correct weight, diameter, composition, and overall appearance while comparing suspected varieties against reliable reference materials. Genuine mint surfaces possess a distinctive texture that is difficult to duplicate artificially, and professional grading services routinely identify alterations that escape casual inspection. Once an attractive example has been acquired, preservation becomes equally important. Collectors avoid cleaning because even light polishing permanently damages original surfaces and reduces collector appeal. Instead, coins are handled only by the edges and stored in inert holders, archival quality flips, capsules, or certified slabs that protect against fingerprints, moisture, airborne contaminants, and chemical reactions. Maintaining a stable environment with low humidity further helps preserve the brilliant red color that frequently distinguishes premium specimens from otherwise similar examples. Today, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Professional Life cent occupies a unique position within modern American numismatics because it combines broad historical significance with the ongoing challenge of locating truly superior survivors. It represents a temporary departure from the traditional Lincoln Memorial reverse, while commemorating the years that shaped one of the nation's most influential presidents before national leadership ever entered the picture. For collectors assembling complete bicentennial sets, registry collections, or comprehensive Lincoln cent series, the professional life design has become an essential component whose finest certified examples continue to inspire spirited competition. Auction history demonstrates that outstanding results belong only to authenticated coins exhibiting extraordinary preservation, elite grades, exceptional eye appeal, or significant verified mint errors, never simply because they bear the 2009 date. As additional coins gradually disappear into long-term collections and pristine examples become increasingly difficult to locate, interest among serious numismatists has remained consistently strong. That enduring demand illustrates an important lesson repeated throughout the history of coin collecting. Rarity is often created not by how many coins were originally struck, but by how few ultimately survive in remarkable condition after years of ordinary circulation. Next up, at first glance, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Formative Years cent appears to be just another modern penny, easily overlooked among countless others that pass through cash registers and change jars across America. Yet experienced collectors rarely dismiss it so quickly. Instead, they slow down, tilt the coin beneath a light, and begin studying details that most people never notice. They look beyond the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln and focus on the reverse, where a young Lincoln pauses from splitting logs to read a book in the Indiana wilderness. That seemingly simple image has become the starting point for a fascinating investigation into one of the most meaningful designs ever placed on the Lincoln cent. As we examine the coin together, the reasons behind its growing collector interest gradually begin to emerge. Before long, it becomes clear that authenticated examples have achieved impressive collector values for reasons extending far beyond the date alone. The real story lies in condition, originality, rarity, production quality, and the careful observations that separate an ordinary circulating coin from one worthy of serious numismatic attention. The Formative Years design was the second of 4 special reverses released during the United States Mint's Lincoln Bicentennial 1-cent program in 2009. The series celebrated 2 major anniversaries simultaneously: the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909. Rather than simply honoring Lincoln's presidency, the Mint chose to tell the story of his entire life through 4 separate designs. This particular reverse illustrates Lincoln's teenage years in Indiana, emphasizing his determination to educate himself despite growing up under difficult frontier conditions. Designed by Charles Vickers and sculpted by Jim Licoretz, the artwork depicts Lincoln seated on a log while reading, with an axe resting nearby to symbolize the physical labor that occupied much of his youth. The contrast between the open book and the axe reflects the balance between hard work and intellectual curiosity that shaped Lincoln's future. Brenner's classic portrait remained on the obverse, linking the commemorative reverse to a design that has represented American coinage for generations while preserving continuity within the Lincoln cent series. Looking closer, the investigation naturally shifts from symbolism to production. The coins intended for circulation were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the absence of a mint mark, and at the Denver Mint, where a small D appears beneath the date on the obverse. The San Francisco Mint also produced collector-quality proof versions carrying the S mint mark, distinguished by highly polished fields and frosted design elements achieved through specially prepared dies and carefully handled planchets. Combined production from Philadelphia and Denver reached hundreds of millions of circulation pieces, ensuring that the design became familiar to Americans throughout the year. Physically, the coin measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, weighs 2.5 grams, features a plain edge, and consists of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This composition had become the standard for Lincoln cents decades earlier as a practical response to rising metal costs. Although every coin began its life with identical specifications, differences in striking pressure, die wear, and post-production handling soon created meaningful variations that collectors continue to study today. As these cents entered circulation during a period when the United States was recovering from the financial crisis of 2008, relatively few people paused to appreciate the historical significance resting in their pockets. Most examples immediately experienced the wear associated with everyday commerce. Tiny contact marks accumulated as coins collided inside mint bags, rolled through counting machines, and changed hands thousands of times. Experienced numismatists understand that these early moments often determine a coin's long-term desirability. During examination, they first confirm the date and mint mark before evaluating strike sharpness throughout Lincoln's clothing, facial features, the texture of the logs, and the lettering surrounding the reverse. They then rotate the coin beneath proper lighting to observe uninterrupted cartwheel luster, searching for breaks caused by friction or mishandling. Surface preservation becomes especially important because copper-plated zinc cents readily develop spots, fingerprints, and discoloration when improperly stored. What appears to be a minor flaw under casual inspection may become the deciding factor between an average mint state coin and one considered among the finest survivors. The deeper the investigation goes, the more obvious it becomes that grading rather than mintage often determines collector demand for modern Lincoln cents. Professional grading companies, such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, evaluate each coin using the Sheldon numerical scale, while also assigning color designations of red, red-brown, or brown, according to the amount of original copper color remaining. Advanced collectors strongly favor brilliant red examples because they retain the fresh appearance seen immediately after striking. Registry set competitors often pursue only the highest certified grades, where population numbers decline dramatically despite the enormous original production totals. Under favorable market conditions, certified mint state 68 red circulation strikes have realized approximately $1,450 to $2,150 through reputable auction sales, while lower mint state grades generally command much more modest premiums. Those values are influenced not only by certification and grade, but also by eye appeal, originality, luster, and current collector demand. A coin with identical specifications but inferior surfaces may bring only a fraction of what an elite example achieves, demonstrating why careful preservation matters so much. No professional investigation would be complete without searching for genuine mint errors and recognized die varieties, yet this is also the point where caution becomes essential. The 2009 Formative years cent is known to exist with legitimate production errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and occasional die cracks, all of which originated during the mint's manufacturing process rather than through later damage. However, there is no universally recognized major double die variety that defines this particular design in the way some famous earlier Lincoln cents are identified. Collectors therefore rely on documented references rather than internet rumors when evaluating unusual examples. Authenticated mint errors displaying dramatic visual impact have sometimes realized approximately $2,800 to $3,700 depending upon certification, rarity, preservation, and market interest. These impressive results belong only to verified mint-made errors, never to ordinary circulation damage or alterations. Understanding that distinction protects collectors from confusing scratches, environmental damage, or machine-related marks with genuinely valuable production anomalies. Authentication itself has become increasingly important as interest in modern Lincoln cents continues to expand. Although counterfeiters generally concentrate on rarer classic issues with substantially higher values, altered coins occasionally appear in the marketplace, especially examples modified to imitate desirable mint errors. Experienced numismatists approach every promising coin methodically. They verify weight, diameter, composition, and overall appearance before comparing suspected varieties with established reference photographs published by respected authorities. Surface texture also provides valuable clues because genuine mint luster possesses characteristics that are extremely difficult to duplicate artificially. When uncertainty remains, certification by a reputable grading service provides additional confidence by confirming authenticity and assigning an impartial grade. Preservation follows naturally after authentication. Collectors avoid cleaning under all circumstances because even gentle rubbing permanently damages original surfaces. Instead, coins are handled only by the edges and stored inside inert holders, archival quality flips, capsules, or professionally encapsulated slabs that shield them from moisture, fingerprints, airborne contaminants, and chemical reactions capable of reducing both eye appeal and long-term desirability. Stepping back from the magnifier, the broader picture comes into focus. The 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Formative years cent represents far more than a temporary design change. It captures the idea that education and perseverance shaped one of America's most influential leaders long before history remembered him as president. That message gives the coin lasting historical significance, while its role within the Fordesign Bicentennial program ensures continuing interest among Lincoln cent specialists and modern U.S. coin collectors alike. Most surviving examples remain inexpensive reminders of an important anniversary, but the finest authenticated pieces continue to command attention because exceptional preservation is genuinely scarce after years of circulation. Auction records consistently demonstrate that extraordinary prices are reserved for certified top population coins or authenticated mint-era examples, rather than every coin bearing the same date and design. For collectors, the real reward lies in learning to recognize those subtle differences through careful observation, disciplined research, and respect for professional authentication. In the end, the Formative years cent reminds us that the smallest details often reveal the greatest stories, and that the true value of a coin is discovered not by assumption, but by patient investigation grounded in history, craftsmanship, and evidence. Last coin. Millions of Americans have handled a 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial cent without realizing that one version quietly commands far more attention from experienced collectors than its ordinary appearance would ever suggest. The Denver Mint issue featuring the Presidency in Washington, D.C., reverse blends into pocket change so easily that it is often overlooked, yet specialists rarely pass it by without a closer inspection. They know that this final design in the Lincoln Bicentennial series represents much more than a commemorative penny. It marks the conclusion of a remarkable four-part tribute to Abraham Lincoln's life, while offering a fascinating case study in how condition, preservation, and collector demand can transform a common modern coin into a highly sought-after collectible. As this investigation unfolds, the reasons behind that growing interest become increasingly clear, eventually leading to the characteristics that influence collector value and the authenticated market results that distinguish exceptional examples from ordinary circulation pieces. The story begins in 2009, a year that carried extraordinary historical meaning for the Lincoln cent. It marked two major anniversaries: 200 years since Abraham Lincoln's birth and 100 years since Victor David Brenner's famous portrait first appeared on the nation's 1-cent coin. Rather than producing a single commemorative issue, the United States Mint released 4 reverse designs that followed Lincoln's journey from his Kentucky birthplace to his presidency. The final design, titled Presidency in Washington, D.C., portrays the unfinished dome of the United States Capitol, a deliberate artistic decision reflecting the immense challenges Lincoln faced while leading the nation through the Civil War. The incomplete Capitol symbolizes that the country itself remained unfinished, struggling toward unity during one of the most difficult periods in American history. The reverse was designed by Susan Gamble and sculpted by Joseph Menner, while Brenner's enduring portrait remained on the obverse. Together, the designs connect Lincoln's personal legacy with the broader story of national perseverance, giving this seemingly modest cent historical depth that extends far beyond its denomination. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark beneath the date, produced hundreds of millions of these circulation strikes during the final months of the bicentennial program. Philadelphia issued companion coins without a mint mark, while the San Francisco Mint struck collector-quality proof examples bearing the S mint mark. Although production totals were substantial, modern numismatics has repeatedly demonstrated that large mintages do not automatically guarantee an endless supply of premium quality survivors. Each coin measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, weighs 2.5 grams, features a plain edge, and is composed of a zinc core covered by a thin layer of copper plating. These planchets were fed into high-speed coining presses capable of producing thousands of coins every hour, yet even with advanced manufacturing technology, no two coins emerged with perfectly identical characteristics. Slight differences in die wear, striking pressure, planchet quality, and handling after striking all contributed to the range of quality that collectors carefully evaluate today. Once these cents entered circulation, their paths quickly diverged. Most experienced the unavoidable wear associated with everyday commerce, collecting contact marks from other coins, abrasions from counting machines, fingerprints, and environmental exposure that gradually diminished their original brilliance. This is where experienced collectors begin their examination. The date confirms the correct year, while the Denver Mint mark verifies the issuing facility. Attention then shifts to strike quality, especially the sharpness of the Capitol building, the clarity of the inscriptions, and the crispness of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. Original cartwheel luster is evaluated under proper lighting because uninterrupted mint frost often separates premium examples from average survivors. Copper-plated zinc cents are especially susceptible to spots and discoloration, making untouched surfaces increasingly scarce as years pass. What appears insignificant to the casual observer can become critically important under professional examination, where tiny imperfections may lower a grade and dramatically influence long-term collector demand. Professional grading transforms those subtle observations into standardized evaluations recognized throughout the numismatic marketplace. Independent organizations such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company assign numerical grades using the Sheldon scale while also classifying copper coins by color as red, red-brown, or brown. For modern Lincoln cents, the coveted red designation indicates that nearly all original mint color remains intact, significantly enhancing desirability among registry set collectors. At the highest certified levels, population reports reveal surprisingly limited numbers despite the enormous original mintage, because so few coins escaped handling with virtually flawless surfaces. Under favorable market conditions, authenticated mint state 68 red examples have realized approximately $1,550 to $2,450 through reputable auction venues. Those figures reflect certification, preservation, originality, eye appeal, and collector competition rather than the date or mint mark alone. Most circulated examples remain readily available at modest values, illustrating how dramatically condition can influence the market for an otherwise common modern issue. Another layer of intrigue emerges when collectors investigate legitimate mint errors and documented die varieties. Unlike certain earlier Lincoln cents famous for major double dies, the 2009 D Presidency reverse does not possess a widely recognized headline variety that defines the issue. Nevertheless, genuine production errors occasionally appear, including off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, and other anomalies created during the minting process. Because these pieces document unusual events inside the mint, rather than damage occurring afterward, they often attract specialized collectors willing to compete for authenticated examples. Verified mint errors displaying dramatic visual characteristics have sometimes achieved approximately $3,100 to $3,950, depending upon certification, severity, preservation, and market demand. These impressive outcomes belong exclusively to authenticated mint-produced errors evaluated by respected grading services. Ordinary post-mint damage, machine marks, or environmental deterioration should never be confused with genuine production errors, making careful authentication essential before assigning significant value to any unusual-looking coin. Authentication has become increasingly important as interest in modern Lincoln Bicentennial cents continues to expand. Although sophisticated counterfeits of this particular issue are not considered widespread compared with classic American rarities, altered coins and misleading representations occasionally enter the marketplace, especially when ordinary pieces are modified to imitate valuable errors. Experienced numismatists verify a coin's weight, diameter, composition, edge, surface texture, and design details before comparing any suspected variety against reliable published references. Professional certification provides additional confidence because grading services authenticate the coin before assigning a grade and encapsulating it in tamper-evident holders. Preservation then becomes the next priority. Collectors never polish or clean Lincoln cents because even gentle cleaning permanently alters original surfaces and substantially reduces collector appeal. Instead, coins are handled only by their edges and stored in inert capsules, archival quality holders, or certified slabs away from moisture, excessive humidity, temperature fluctuations, and chemical contaminants. These simple precautions help preserve original mint luster and the brilliant red color that advanced collectors consistently seek. Today, the 2009 D Lincoln Bicentennial Presidency cent occupies a distinctive place within modern American numismatics because it captures the closing chapter of Lincoln's remarkable journey while also illustrating how careful observation separates ordinary coins from exceptional collectibles. Its historical symbolism, temporary reverse design, and connection to two major anniversaries ensure lasting interest among specialists assembling complete Lincoln collections and competitive registry sets. Auction history consistently demonstrates that the strongest prices belong only to authenticated examples exhibiting elite preservation, top certified grades, or significant verified mint errors, never simply because they share the same date and mint mark. As time passes and pristine survivors become increasingly difficult to locate, collector demand continues to reward originality, patience, and informed study over speculation. Sometimes the smallest coin carries the largest story, and the next remarkable discovery often begins with nothing more than a closer look.